Hi there. Welcome to Monetize Your Business podcast conversations in partnership with FNB. My name is Hetty, the entrepreneur, and every week we bring you fantastic conversations with entrepreneurs who are doing phenomenal things within their area of knowledge and expertise. And of course, this week is no different. We are bringing you a fabulous entrepreneur. If you are an entrepreneur who's working in a fast paced, highly stressful environment, then you're going to want to tune into this conversation because Lalie Moraba is really going to help us get ourselves into gear, especially from a sleep and eating healthy perspective. But before we get into that conversation, let me not rush things. You know how we do over here. I'm not flying this plane on my own. I've got my trusted co-pilot with me, Papa Biz. How are you?
No, I'm good, and I'm glad that I'm going to be able to discuss this. This is something also very close to my heart, and something that I'm always looking to learn more about.
Yes.
Water.
Absolutely. Lalie, welcome to the conversation.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, it's really good to have you. I'm also very much like Papa Biz, looking forward to unpacking your knowledge and insights. I think before we get into those nitty-gritties, we love to get to know you a little bit better.
Yeah.
Tell us, who is Lalie? Where did you grow up? Just your earlier context for us, please.
So I am Lalie Moraba and previously Lecheza. I am the middle child of three and quintessentially middle child. A different contrarian
Yeah.
all of that, but I'm very much a loner, I would say, because yes, I spent a lot of my growing up years in boarding school.
Okay.
And so a lot of me was formed in that space, just trying to find who I was, etc. And that was in the Free State.
Yes.
And then I went to university at Rhodes, and then came to Joburg, met my husband,
Oh, that's
got married, and we have two beautiful children, a 16-year-old girl. Yeah,
16-year-old.
16-year-old girl.
a teen
I am dealing with that, yes.
in this day and age. Oh my goodness.
It's a lot of fun. My children are very
Yeah.
intense people.
Yes.
And I wonder where they get that from. Yeah, so it's her and her 10-year-old brother.
Okay,
So
wonderful.
boy and a girl. Okay. That's
Yes.
Nice,
Yes.
nice. I'm curious, whereabouts in the Free State did you grow up?
I was actually born in Lesotho. But I was, all my schooling was in the Free State. And that was Bloemfontein.
I see. Okay, interesting.
It's actually not that far from Kimberley. I was raised in Kimberley.
Yes, I was at school with kids from Kimberley. Yeah. They were in
So you were actually in school with diamonds. Well done. Well done.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. And at university, what did you study?
So I studied BSc Law. Rhodes was the only university offering that kind of mix, and I was going to become an IP lawyer. And so it was just me and another student who did that. It was 5 amazing years, 5 incredibly stressful years.
Yes.
But by the end of that, I knew that I didn't really want to work in corporate law, but I had done the 5 years of it.
Yes.
And the expectation, of course, is you're going to go to Joburg and you're going to
do this thing.
You're going to do this thing, exactly. So
Sure.
that's what I did for a good number of years. And, I always say, really, I knew just walking in day one that this was just not for me, right? But I had always been somebody who was interested in health and wellness because as a child, I had sleep issues.
I see.
And I also just enjoyed understanding all about health. And my parents used to subscribe to Reader's Digest, and I would read the books and I would just acquire all this knowledge. And, 1 month they're talking about how butter is bad for you. The next month, no, butter is wonderful for you. And, that was me growing up, always reading ingredient labels on products and all of that. And so I think along the way, while I was practicing law, actually, I did a health coaching course.
Okay.
Also just trying to figure out my own health issues, sleep issues, digestive issues, and also helping family, helping friends with all of that. Yeah, so that was the path that I took. I didn't do anything with it at that point, the health coaching course, because I was doing the law thing. And,
Yes.
I couldn't really say to anybody that I really want to quit law
And
for
do
this thing. What is health coaching in the first place, right?
Yeah.
But eventually, I struck up the guts to quit, and I was just tired. I was exhausted. And at the time, we were actually dealing with secondary infertility, because hence the age gap between our kids.
I see.
The first one was easy. The second one,
Not so
it was just like, what's
easy.
happening now?
Sure.
You know,
my
so I was
goodness.
really in a rough place,
Mm.
trying to figure out what's going on with us. And so, and I just couldn't take corporate dress and all of that. And I thought, I never really wanted to do this
In
anyway.
the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me leave and figure out myself.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did. But from there I went into lecturing, which I loved.
Okay.
I loved
Lovely.
lecturing law. It really was just a happy place for me.
Yes.
And you know, interestingly, when I was in school, I had said to my mom, who was a teacher, that I wanted to become a teacher. And even to my teachers, and they were just like, no, you're not doing this. You know, not you.
Yeah.
And but it was funny, when I was lecturing, I was like, I should have just followed this path.
Yeah.
You know, because
Yeah.
this is so much more me.
Yes.
And anyway, so I did that for a few years.
Oh wow.
And then what happened then? I think, then our daughter was in school, and I decided I wanted to homeschool her.
Okay.
And so,
And that requires time.
and that required a lot of time from me. So it was her, and then our son was finally born, thank God.
There we go. What a blessing.
Yes, yes, he's quite a blessing. And so that was the path that we took. And then during COVID, I decided to do another health coaching course.
Yes.
And
Hold you back again, yeah?
so it pulled me back again, because then I was like, okay, I really want to do this thing.
Yeah.
And started, walking that path. And in 2023, after working with a friend of mine, just helping me understand a bit of business, and
Yes.
because I knew health coaching, I
Yeah.
knew health content, but
Yes.
absolutely
The
zero.
business side of it.
Zero about business. Oh my gosh, I laugh at myself every day when I think of how little, like I just knew nothing.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
And so he helped me with that. And so I just started dabbling in it in 2023. And then 24 also worked with other business coaches.
Yeah.
And then found out about you actually in May 2020. Well, I knew about you before that. But I attended an event that you hosted in May 2024, and later on joined the mentorship club.
That is amazing.
And here I am.
Yeah.
Oh, very good.
Yes.
You know, for context, because you'd be surprised how many people don't actually know what a coach is or does. I think, you know, sometimes they hear about it, but if they've never engaged with one,
Yeah.
what exactly is a coach? What is a health coach in particular?
Okay. So from my perspective, I say to people that I am somebody who partners with you.
Okay.
Or sometimes I'll describe it as a transformation agent. I'm not doing it for you. I'm not, whereas there is definitely a teaching element of it.
Yes.
But that's not the primary thing.
Yes.
I'm partnering with you to reach a goal. So if you come to me and you say that I'm sleeping 4 hours the night and I want to get better at that, we'll talk about that. We'll try to unpack what's happening in your life.
Yes.
And then I'll be coaching you on a weekly or fortnightly basis to say, let's do weekly goals. Let's see what's happening with your sleep in those times. And my big thing is circadian rhythms. That's really the foundation of my work. So that's where I start with people.
Okay.
Instead of just I don't even prescribe supplements anyway, but instead of even recommending, it's a case of, if you are exposed to too much artificial light and not enough natural light, that's going to affect not just your sleep, but many other things about your life. So let's try and get you out in the sun as much as possible. And I know you're busy, you're trying to run a business, or you have a high-powered career, but let's see how we can work through that. So the coaching is really just walking with you to try and help you do things, to take steps, to take action.
Yes.
I'm not doing it for you. I'm not just giving you tons of knowledge that you're going to sit there and feel paralyzed, not sure what to do about it.
Yes.
And have you found that as you've been working with different people, how is it? Do you find people where they're more receptive, or others where it's like quite a challenge?
So people come to me, first encounters is often like, Lalie, I'm struggling with sleep. Help me. And I don't know what they expect. They know I'm not a doctor, but for some reason people think that I'm going to say to them, take a supplement or do these things.
Here's this pull.
Here's this pill. You know, so I'm always saying to people, I prescribe nothing. I'm just here to help you with lifestyle change.
Yes.
That's when they then feel a bit like lifestyle change. You mean I have to wake up and watch the sun in the morning? Yes. You mean I have to get out during the middle of the day and get some sun on my skin? Yes. I'm not so keen on that. So they come with being frantic at first, but then there's a challenge when I tell them what it entails. So they said, I think I like to think of the message as being maybe a bit ahead of its time with a lot of people. But I do find that when they realize that whatever else that they're doing isn't giving them the long-term
that they
results.
need. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then they come back and they say, okay, I think I need to try this thing.
Yes.
And then even then, it takes about a week or so. If you're doing the proper circadian things, it takes about a week or so to start feeling different. And then when a person's like, yeah, actually, I'm getting a bit of energy. Maybe there is something to this magic,
And did you find that, as you were doing the courses as well, to be able to understand, because I mean, these type of courses, they're different from what we do in academic settings, where I mean, you're studying for 5 years with this law. But then now, as you get into the space, did you find that it was difficult to migrate into, or did you find that while you were learning that this actually speaks so much more to my spirit?
Oh, the latter. It just spoke to who I was, and because it's very much about natural rhythms.
Yes.
And it's practical. Yes, there's a lot of content, but it was very practical, and that connected so much more with me, and also with what I believe in. I think people need to be living. I mean, nothing wrong with careers and all of that, but when we're so disconnected from all of that, because with me, I think I wouldn't have been able to put it that way back when I entered the working world. But when I look back, I realize that there really was a disconnect. A young Black woman who was intelligent, expected to follow this path, go and be successful, so that we can, fade you and say, oh, you're amazing and all of these things, but actually be very disconnected from your health and from the issues that you're dealing with. And like I said earlier, I was struggling with poor sleep. And just that alone, it's a badge of honor for people these days, but it was impeding my own performance.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So finding these more natural ways, I think really helped me to be much more.
Because I mean, when one doesn't have enough sleep on a continuous basis, it affects health, right? It affects mood and just the overall person's character. I don't know.
Oh yes. No, I mean character, personality, and I like to say this thing that maybe you're depressed, maybe you're sleep deprived, or maybe you're a horrible boss, or maybe you're sleep deprived, and it's not either or. It's very much, I say it just kind of to be controversial, but it's really kind of two sides of the same coin.
Yes.
That people might think that, oh, my boss is just toxic, but that person is just sleep deprived, and they don't know it. They don't know it. When I think of my own experiences of even after I had quit law and I was now in this maybe like in between state, I remember many afternoons where even when I was lecturing, actually, I'd come back from my classes and I would just be passed out on my bed. And when I think of the time, so from that perspective alone of a nap in the afternoons, which I desperately needed, but now I don't. So if I don't need an hour's nap in the afternoon, I can be productive. So it's so closely connected to what we want to do with our lives, just having that. And even then, when I think of the mother that I was, who was just living behind a fog, I was just so tired. And now I have so much energy, I don't know what to do with it.
Oh, wow.
And it's just made a difference. It's made a huge difference in my life. And I can imagine that if you're an entrepreneur who is burning the candle at both ends, and maybe maybe it's even like a side hustle, and you're still in your in your corporate career, you're trying to leave. I mean, we all have to do what we need to do for a period of time, but you need to be aware that then that must come to an end. Otherwise, you're going to burn yourself out. And then what's the point?
Yes, absolutely. Gosh, it's so true. When you talk about lifestyle, because we do live in such a high performance society where we're telling entrepreneurs you must wake up early, you must catch that early worm and all of that, and it's highly stressful. And sometimes we feel as though if we do take that time to slow down, then everything else may fall apart in our business, but we don't realize that actually the stress is making us fall apart. How do you actually speak to clients to kind of get that mindset shift to say that when you are rested and when you are sleeping well, that then has a positive impact on your business and your career and your other pursuits.
Yeah, I think it's multi conversations that I have with people, and I often say that you have to develop that self trust muscle in a sense that your world will still exist tomorrow morning. And you have to just say to yourself, just try it. Just try it. I remember one of the first times when I decided I'm tired of sleeping at 11 p.m. or whatever it was. And I just remember shutting down my computer, just my laptop, closing it like this. And, sometimes I still feel that feeling.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because it was so visceral. It was just like, this is not what I do.
Yeah.
And it was just like 9 p.m. And I said, I'm going to shut this down.
This is it.
And that's what I say to people.
Yeah.
Just do something like that.
Yeah.
One thing.
Yeah.
And walk. Don't go to the kitchen. Walk to the bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
One little thing like that. And you can't just do that one little thing.
Yeah.
Of course, everything inside of you is going to rise up where you feel like, oh my gosh, my work is going to be waiting for me. I'm like, just go do that. Set an alarm for 4 a.m. if you have to.
Yes, but
Just
get
go
in
do
that sleep.
Exactly. Get that sleep. Then you can wake up in the morning
Refreshed.
and catch up with whatever you missed out on the night before. Because
Yes.
that's critical, that you're getting sleep earlier in the night than later.
Oh, wow.
It might still be 8 hours, but 8 hours from midnight to, what is it?
It's
8.
different.
It's going to be very different from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. That's going to be very different
Yes.
physiologically in your body. So just take that one little step in and trust that life will still be there tomorrow. And you'll get to the email before your boss finds out that you went to bed at, God forbid,
shock horror.
Exactly. At 9 p.m.
Yes. Tell me something, Lalie. Is it because I'm also trying to see, is there a connection then to how we go to sleep in the evening? Should we be having like a winding down routine that kind of helps us to relax our bodies? Or can you just jump into bed and hope for the best?
I mean, some people, like my husband, can jump into bed
And switch off.
Yes, but
Yeah.
some of us, we need to dim the lights.
Yes.
Well, first shut off the computer, dim the lights, and then if you want to take an evening shower, you can do that. And then just something, maybe even like music. If a person likes to do that, I like to do breath work. I like to just maybe lie in bed and do the 4-7-8 or box breathing. People can Google that if they want to look at that kind of thing. But I like
Is
to
that
do
like a
that.
conscious form of
A
breathing?
conscious form of breathing where you are breathing in and then a long exhale, because they say that helps you relax. And you can feel it.
Yes.
You can actually feel it, that my arms, my stomach, I'm feeling more relaxed as I do this. And I mean, I'm not even saying people must do it every night. It's not going to be a perfect system, but I know that when I don't do it, I feel it. And it might not be immediately when I fall asleep, because I would have been quite tired anyway. But sometimes, like even my dreams aren't as settled. I feel like
So it's
I
not
didn't really switch
restful
off. Yes,
sleep.
it's not restful sleep. Exactly. It's things like that. I'm thinking about a lot of things. Whereas doing those breathing exercises helps me to switch off. And then I love to read in bed. But I wear blue blocking glasses when I'm reading, because I'm reading on my phone. So which is another thing that I
Because
say.
that
The
light.
That light as
Exactly.
well.
So I put on my glasses and I read 10-15 minutes. I've always been a reader. I don't think I'll ever give that up in bed. So I make do then with things like that.
Yes.
So again, it's those things where I say to a person, you don't have to change everything about your life.
Yes.
But let's find ways for you to still be able to be a successful woman who's going places, but wear those glasses.
Yes.
Things like that. Buy a pair of blue blocking glasses and wear those if you're in bed, or even if you're working late. Deadlines are deadlines. They don't happen every week, but when they do happen, at the very least, then do things like put on those glasses. Yeah.
And let me ask, how have you gone about finding clients?
It's been social media a lot of the time. I knew, again, nothing about social media other than fights on Twitter way back before
Wasn't that a bit weird or different for you, because coming from a law background and then now utilizing, so wasn't it a bit different?
It was hugely different. It was a steep learning curve for me, honestly. It was, which is why I needed to work with people to help me in that. But I learned it. I got onto Instagram knowing nothing about it, but I got onto it for business purposes. And then I learned that game. I wouldn't say incredibly successfully, to be honest, because it just felt like too much for me. Because I really hadn't used it much.
Mm.
But I have since moved more to LinkedIn, a
Okay.
much better platform, because really part of my
really?
work, yes, I'm much happier there and making far better connections,
Really?
and also trying to get into corporate wellness. That's really where I'm going to meet the right people. So that has yielded quite so some decent fruit with regard to like conversations with not just individual women who need my services, but also I'm building relationships with corporates.
Yeah, that's brilliant. It's always great when you actually find the platform that speaks to
Yes.
what you do.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to go back a little bit to the lifestyle thing because it's so fascinating. You know, because as entrepreneurs, we're often on the move. And when we're on the move with our busy days, we just grab whatever we can to eat, whether it's last night's leftovers or fast food here and there. Is there a correlation between what we eat and how we sleep and just maybe our overall well-being?
Yes, I mean, for sure.
Okay.
If you were really, if you were just rushing through the day
Yeah.
and you were eating snacks, for example, I encounter people who then find that they might be able to fall asleep, but in the middle of the night, somewhere between 1 and 3 a.m., she suddenly wakes up, right? And I say, and of course, now we're trying to figure out all kinds of things. I say, let's go back to the basics. If you're not eating enough, number one. Number two, if you're not eating enough protein, it means your blood sugar is doing spikes and dips, spikes and dips. And that time at around 3 a.m. is when you've now depleted whatever amounts of blood sugar might have been. And then you get
Would have
this
been
sudden,
slowly, yeah.
exactly, you get the sudden awakening, and then you struggle to fall asleep. So it's those things that I try to get people to realize that all of these little things matter.
They matter, actually.
Of course, it's never about doing it perfectly. It's about building consistency.
Yes.
So meal plan so that you're not rushing haphazardly now through your day. Use your weekends to meal plan. And that doesn't mean 5 hours in the kitchen on a Saturday cooking all kinds of things. It does mean planning for maybe Wednesday's meal. If I'm going to have a stir fry on Wednesday, at least have the meat chopped up by the weekend.
Yeah.
You know, or you have those kinds of things. Exactly.
Yes.
And those things are things that people look down on
Yeah.
or don't even think of. But I'm like, this is what makes you a better entrepreneur.
Yes.
This is what makes you successful, when you're able to take care of these things so that you can take care of your body and your body does the work,
Yes. Yes.
because it's the only body you have.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm actually interested. I know we came towards a close. I'm actually interested. What are some of the lessons that you learned to grow as a business person? Because you spoke initially that was quite a steep learning curve for you to something that you were not as familiar with, where you had to learn quite a lot. What are some of the things that you ended up needing to learn?
There's been a big mental game going on inside of me, and just learning that I can do this. I am called to do this. And like I said, when I look back to my childhood, this has really been a message that's been there inside of me. So I've learned to trust myself. I've learned to just try and distinguish, like for example, when I talk about Instagram and LinkedIn, everybody was telling me I need to be on Instagram, right? And for me to make the decision that this is not a platform that is really serving me was a big decision for me, actually.
It actually was big.
It was a big decision as somebody who was told this one thing by people who know better, and now moving to this meant that I was now trusting myself to make decisions.
Yeah.
And just also learning that I can fail and fail badly and still scrape myself off the floor and keep going. I think that's been such a huge lesson for me, that I'm just going to keep pushing. I've learned to shoot my shots and been surprised, pleasantly so, that people respond.
Yes.
And just write the email. Just write the email. You never, the worst that could happen is they won't respond. Or they'll say, we don't need what you're offering. And, so far I haven't had any rude responses.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
so it's lessons like that.
Absolutely. You know, Lalie, there are quite a number of people that will be watching this that are living very fast-paced lives, very stressful lives, maybe not getting enough sleep and kind of surviving on whatever they can grab, etc. What final kind of takeaway advice would you give to that high-flying individual that kind of needs to find balance in their lives?
So I think with regards to sleep, I say to people, you really have to make that decision to say there is a cutoff at night. And I say start with maybe 3 nights and then 4 nights a week and see how that works.
Okay.
But have a cutoff and rather wake up early,
Okay.
practically speaking. And then also a big one for me is get that morning light. Try and get as much of it as possible. Go sit outside, have a quiet time out there, and just draw yourself to yourself, because this thing of hitting the ground running, you're going to quickly run out of that runway.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And again, what are you going to do with your business when you are now lying flat in a hospital, something like that? And then with the food, it is, as I said earlier, plan it.
Yeah.
Plan your meals and learn as much as you can about what works for you. Study yourself.
Yeah.
Put a little bit of trust in what works for you and not just what every influencer on the socials is saying, and play around with that and talk to people like me, yes, to help and to guide you. But only you know really what's going to work out for you. And if you don't, we can help you with that. And if you're planning your meals, if you're planning your sleep, it just boils down to planning. Stop kind of planning. And do what you can. I didn't get here from doing it just overnight. It's been many, many years of learning and of changing this and of changing that. And so just allow yourself to do that. But what you shouldn't do is lose your health in the pursuit of success.
Sure.
That's certainly the message.
That's very powerful and very nice and practical advice as well. Thank you so much for that. Sure. Amazing nuggets, hey? Papa Biz, what have been your big takeaways from today's conversation with Lalie?
Yeah, mine's actually quite specific, well, with what you spoke about when the penny dropped and you moved primarily from Instagram onto LinkedIn. You know, there are certain people in their businesses, number one, they might get stuck, or they're having activity and it's not actually gaining the type of rewards that they want. And you found, you know, when you assess your business correctly, you realize, okay, but this platform will serve me better.
Yeah.
But not only that it will serve you better, but then you actually then continued action towards that, which is actually very important to then continue the action, because a lot of people can get despondent.
Yes.
So yeah, that's one thing I've actually taken from this.
Yeah, that's a powerful takeaway. You know, for me, Lalie, I've really enjoyed this conversation, and I think it's forcing me to even just look at my own basics. What time am I going to bed? How am I going to bed? Am I conscious of what I'm putting into my system? Is it giving me enough energy? Morning light.
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure. Critical, right? Morning light. Let me absorb that. Rather sleep early and wake up early than sleep later. So I've gotten some really good practical nuggets. Really fantastic. Tell me, if somebody's watching this and they're thinking, okay, I need Lalie. I need her expertise. I need help to just find that balance, sleep better, have a less stressful life, even though I do have demands from work and business. How do they get in touch with you?
So, Lalie Moraba on LinkedIn, if they just type that in, I'm the only one there.
Wow,
They'll
nice.
find me.
Lovely.
Yeah, and then if they can email me at Lalie, Lalie, at kanyawellness.co.za.
Nice.
Brilliant. Fantastic. Monetizers, there you have it. Lalie Moraba, she's available to help you to just find that balance. In the midst of us building our businesses, we also need to find that balance so that we can have the fuel to build our businesses. Now that brings us to the end of yet another important and insightful podcast conversation. Make sure that you're plugging into all our social media platforms. It's at Monetize Your Business, and make sure that you're checking out where we are coming to next with our physical workshops, because we would love to see you in person. Now, until our next podcast conversation, bye-bye.
Cheers, guys.